Hello everyone, my name is Umie Karmila. I am a first year medical student. Today I'm going to share about the nervous system that is the biological foundation of psychiatry. Before we dive into today's topic, do you know what's the meaning of the nervous system? Nervous system is a highly complex part of an animal that functions to detect any changes in the internal and external environments. This system plays a vital role to regulate all voluntary actions and involuntary processes. By doing this study, I hope we could explore how the structure and function of the nervous system form the foundation of psychiatry. Next, I'm going to share about a specialist in this field. Sigmund Freud, who is known as the father of psychoanalysis, believed that many mental health problems come from unconscious thoughts and emotional conflicts. Instead of only using physical treatments, he introduced talk therapy where patients express their feelings and thoughts through conversation. He also developed psychoanalysis and introduced the structural model of personality to explain human behavior. In addition, he emphasized defense mechanisms which help individuals to cope with stress and anxiety. He strongly believed that any early childhood experiences play a major role in shaping personality and mental health later in life. Moving on to the next part, that is about the anatomy of the nervous system. First, the central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The brain includes the cerebrum, responsible for thinking, learning, and voluntary movements, the diencephalon, which regulates hormones and autonomic function, the brainstem, controlling basic life functions like breathing and heartbeat, and the cerebellum, which coordinates balance and movements. The spinal cord is a long cylindrical structure that transmits information between the brain and the body. Next is the peripheral nervous system, which includes cranial nerves, spinal nerves, and peripheral ganglia. It is divided into the somatic nervous system, controlling voluntary movement, and the autonomic nervous system to regulate involuntary actions like heart rate, digestion, and glandular activity. The brain is divided into three major regions: the forebrain, the midbrain, and hindbrain, each with specialized role in processing information and coordinating body functions. In terms of functional areas of the brain, the motor areas in the frontal lobe control voluntary movements such as walking and writing, while the sensory areas in the parietal, temporal, and occipital lobes process sensation like touch, sound, and vision. Association areas integrate this information and support higher functions such as thinking, learning, memory, and decision-making. The limbic system regulates emotions, behavior, motivation, and memory. Together, these brain areas enable coordinated actions, information processing, and emotional regulation essential for normal mental functioning. Finally, the brain-body communication pathways allow the brain to receive signals from the body, process them, and send back appropriate responses. This ensures smooth coordination of movement, sensation, and internal organ functions. Any disturbance in these pathways can lead to neurological or mental disorders. We proceed to the next part, that is the physiology. The first one is about neural transmission and synaptic activity. Neural transmission is how neurons communicate using electrical and chemical signals. An action potential generated by sodium and potassium movement will travel along the axon to the presynaptic terminal, triggers the release of neurotransmitters. This cross the synapse and bind to receptors on the next neuron. Proper transmission is essential for mood, behavior, and connection, and many psychiatric drugs target this system. Secondly, neurotransmitters and mental health. Dopamine affects motivation with axis linked to schizophrenia. Serotonin and norepinephrine regulate mood, sleep, and stress, while GABA and glutamate balance inhibitory and excitatory activity. Imbalances can cause psychiatric conditions, making neurotransmitter key target for treatment. The third one is the limbic system and emotion regulation. The limbic system controls emotions and behavior. The amygdala handles fear, the hippocampus links emotions to memory, the hypothalamus manages emotional response, and the prefrontal cortex regulates decision making. This function can lead to psychiatric disorder and affect emotional stability. To the biochemistry part, that is the neurotransmitter synthesis and metabolism. Neurotransmitter synthesis is the process of making chemical messengers from specific precursors using enzymes, then package them into vesicles. Small molecule neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine are made in the presynaptic terminal, while neuropeptides are produced in the cell body and transported down the axon. These neurotransmitters travel across synapses to send signals, and their action is ended either by reuptake into the presynaptic neuron or enzymatic breakdown in the synaptic clefts. Any imbalance in the synthesis can affect mood, thinking, and behavior, highlighting the importance of mental health. Secondly, nutritional and metabolic factors that affect mental health. The nervous system has high energy demands and needs a constant supply of glucose, oxygen, and nutrients to function properly. B vitamins are crucial for neurotransmitter synthesis, myelin formation, and normal neuron metabolism. Deficiencies in minerals or metabolic problems can disrupt neurotransmission and brain function. Such nutritional and metabolic imbalances can contribute to neurological and psychiatric conditions. Next is the common disease in psychiatric field, that is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a chronic and severe mental disorder that affects how you think, feel, and behave. Schizophrenia has both positive and negative symptoms because it affects the brain in two different ways. Positive symptoms occur when extra experiences appear, such as hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized speech or behavior. Negative symptoms occur when normal functions are reduced or lost, including lack of motivation, reduced emotional expression, and social withdrawal. One of the commonly used medication is haloperidol. Haloperidol is a typical antipsychotic drug. It helps in schizophrenia by blocking dopamine D2 receptors, which reduces dopamine signaling in the brain. By doing this, it is effective in controlling positive symptoms such as hallucination and delusions. Although the exact cause of schizophrenia is not fully understood, studies have shown abnormalities in brain structure and chemical activity in affected individuals. In particular, patients with schizophrenia demonstrate increased dopamine synthesis in the medial prefrontal cortex and striatum, supporting the role of dopamine dysregulation in the disorder. For the last part of my presentation, I will explain how advanced technology helps us to diagnose and give appropriate treatments. The first technology shown here is functional magnetic resonance imaging or fMRI. This technique allows us to observe brain activity in real time by detecting changes in blood oxygen level. When a specific area of the brain becomes more active, it uses more oxygen, and this appears as the red or highlighted regions in the image. In psychiatry, fMRI is very useful because it helps us to identify which brain regions are involved in functions such as emotion, memory, decision-making, and behavior. For example, abnormal activity in the prefrontal cortex or limbic system is often associated with disorders like depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia. The second image represents positron emission tomography or PET scan. Unlike fMRI, PET focuses on brain metabolism and chemical activity. A small amount of radioactive tracer is injected into the body, and areas of high activity appear in warmer colors such as red and yellow. PET scans are especially important in psychiatry because they allow us to study neurotransmitter systems such as dopamine and serotonin. This helps researchers understand the biological basis of mental illness like schizophrenia, where dopamine activity is often dysregulated. The final diagram shows transcranial magnetic stimulation or TMS. Unlike fMRI and PET, which are mainly diagnostic tools, TMS is both a research and treatment method. TMS uses magnetic pulses to stimulate or inhibit specific areas of the brain. As shown in the image, differences in brain activity can be seen between a normal brain and a depressed brain. By targeting underactive regions such as the prefrontal cortex, TMS can help improve symptoms of depression, especially in patients who do not respond well to medications. In conclusion, integrating biological insight with psychiatric care not only enhance our understanding in mental health but also emphasize the importance of holistic approach in supporting individuals with mental disorders. That's all from me. Thank you.